I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that does. Well, it's pretty much the same enterprise that our next guest is well known for, is well established. Nothing like belting down another beer, is there, Carl Gerbschmidt?
I'm at work right now.
Sorry to bother you.
Your friend Jordan said I had to be on the radio.
Well, yeah, you kind of do. This is a pretty timely day. We had several requests from emailers.
Why?
Well, HBO last night.
Yeah,
Joe
great.
Buck has your guy Brett Favre on.
Yeah,
your thoughts?
I would rather watch Showtime.
Any particular show?
I don't know, a movie or something. I just think HBO is very irresponsible.
Well,
it's not journalism. It's HBO.
Well, it used to be Bob Costas Live, an award-winning journalist.
He's a short little punk, is Bob Costas. And, it's fine. I know why you're calling.
Yeah,
Brett was on.
He was on, and he's basically confirmed it. He's coming.
No.
He's coming.
No. He said maybe.
You don't believe that nonsense, do you?
Maybe means?
Maybe yes. Maybe means yes in Brett Favre language.
No, it means, yeah. He said, maybe I'm retired, okay? Which meant no, he's not retired.
Well, he texted.
So maybe he's going to play again, which means he's probably not.
He text messaged Trent Dilfer, no. No does not mean no with Favre. Maybe doesn't mean maybe with Favre.
Dilfer is a doofus, so I'm never going to believe again. I cannot believe it. Everyone got sucked into listening to Trent Dilfer. I mean, Trent Dilfer's a doofus.
How worried?
The worst thing ever happened was when he left Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is terrible with Trent Dilfer.
How worried are you? Because it's more obvious than ever that your guy is good.
I am very whatever. It doesn't affect me in one little iota. I don't think about Brett Favre. I don't care about Brett Favre. And then for him to get on and say he's like Lombardi is what a jerk.
Well, that's what
because he's not like Lombardi, okay?
What's the difference, Lombardi?
Lombardi is a Hall of Fame coach who's really very good, and look, and so Lombardi, I think, went to Washington because I think there was family or something.
Lombardi got screwed by the Packers. Favre got screwed by the Packers. What's the difference?
Look,
they're both legends.
The Packers don't screw anyone, okay? All right, there's no screwing going on. That's probably something you're thinking about a Vikings boat trip. Okay? That's not what happens in Green Bay. Green Bay is the most professional.
Why do you have to bring Fred Smoot into the conversation?
What's that?
Why do you have to bring Fred Smoot into the conversation?
Yeah, because why do you have to have Fred Smoot on your team in the first?
Well, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure that, now watch, Brett Favre will go to Minnesota and there'll be a sex scandal on a boat.
Well, wait a minute. Why would that be?
Well, because that's what happens. You people just corrupt people. So it's like living in Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, Minneapolis and St. Paul, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Where are you now? Are you in West Allis, Wisconsin?
No, in Economowalk.
Economowalk, I'm sorry. I get my...
It's not like it's a funny name. Okay?
No, Economowalk, it's
a big suburb, okay?
It rolls off the tongue, there's no question.
Hey, easy to spell. It's
I got a roadkill question for you.
Okay, number one, I told you, mate.
I know.
I don't deal with the roadkill.
But you deal with roads, right?
Yeah, we do deal with roads, yeah.
I drove just a couple weekends ago, did the 94/90 tour.
Yeah, I hope you got a ticket for speeding.
Well, no, I didn't, although I think I probably came close. And we literally counted 16, 17, 18 dead deer.
That's up to the local people to clear that off.
Well, let's get it going. It was disgusting. I mean,
I don't work for local administration, okay?
Well, it's on the interstate.
Call the people in Black River Falls or Toma or one of those places, or Barreiro, one of those places.
By the way, in Toma, they got a new Long John Silver's tied to. Yeah, it's tied. It's like a combo platter.
I like Long John Silver.
Me too. LJS and A&W.
A&W.
Yeah.
You can get a chili dog and a hush puppies.
Think about it.
That's good.
That's as good as it gets.
I love Long John Silver.
You know what we call that? Good grease.
I like the little lobster bites they give you.
Those are new.
They're made out of lobster.
Yeah, that's real lobster right from Maine.
Lobster.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
How many Long John Silvers do they have in Minnesota?
They got one at the Mall of Hysteria, and then they got one. There is at least one other one, I think. But Mall of Hysteria's got one.
Well, I recall I couldn't find Long John Silver's when I lived there for 1 year in hell.
Well, you didn't know where to look. I'd have been able to help you.
I lived in Minnesota.
Yeah, it was the best year of your life.
So you want me to be all upset about coming? I'm not upset. Look, it doesn't matter to me. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the division.
I thought he looked good yesterday. I thought he looked composed. He sounded strong. He sounded hungry. he sounded like he's got it. No, Favre got a lot of ball left in him.
He looked old to me.
He did?
He looked very old. And how about that terrible little skit they did at the beginning?
Yeah,
Joe Buck is not very funny. He's kind of sad and pathetic.
Well, what I would say is Joe Buck's, if he's going to, I think he'd be fine doing that show, but he'd be better off just being himself and not try to be Shecky
I don't even know who he is. Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, that might be some of the, so he's very pro-Packer guy, big Packer guy.
I don't think he is. I think he's kind of anti-Packer guy.
Give me, in all honesty, have you
noticed?
Most of
the world I think a lot of the world roots for the Packers to lose. Outside the planet, because
you think so?
Evil is kind of working its way back into society, and I think there's a lot of people who don't want to see the Packers do well, who are evil people.
You think they hope that the Packers fail? Would you put it in those kind of Rush Limbaugh-like terms?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there may be some of that exactly.
I think there's a lot of that going around these days.
When do you think we'll finally get? You know Favre as well as anybody. You know Brett. You got his truck.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I do. Okay, so what?
When are we going to get this determined?
What's that?
Well, when are we going to get a final verdict on whether he's coming? Because we're all getting tired of this story.
He's probably not coming. I think he's leading you on. He's like, you people should be smarter than that. But, it's Minnesota. There's not a lot of smart people in Minnesota. There's kind of a lot of stupid people. There's a lot of narrow-minded, stupid people in Minnesota.
By the way, there's also a Long John Silver's in Maple Grove tied to a Taco Bell. That's another combo.
I don't live there anymore, to be honest. I was just being polite.
Hey, I back to the roadkill real quick.
I don't do roadkill.
Yeah, but if it's on the interstate, that should be your job.
No,
your office.
To the local jurisdiction to clear the roadkill.
Oh, it was bad. It was very strange. It was everywhere.
That's because it's not every place in Wisconsin has got it together like Oconomowoc does. Elk Mound.
Have you noticed, in all honesty, though, how your team is the only one in the division that gets no off-season pub?
It's because we don't need it. Okay.
Well, you need it.
We don't need off-season pub.
You're off.
Look at the teams that are getting off-season pub. The Lions. They're terrible.
How do you know?
They are. They're terrible.
Well, they've been terrible.
They were 16. Did you get the memo on that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
The Bears. They're terrible.
They got Cutler.
Oh, he's terrible. He's a drunkard. He's a drunken Southern quarterback. He's a young guy who likes to throw the ball on.
If he is, I would think
that stuff doesn't work in the National Football League.
If he is, I would think
you'd have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, a very responsible guy. Okay, a guy with good Midwest values. Okay, that's who you need.
I thought swilling beer was one of your Midwestern values, one of the most sacred of them all.
I think it's okay to have a beer now and again, but probably not when you're playing football.
How do you know he's a drunkard? Cutler.
He is. You just look at him. Nobody's hair looks like that when they're sober. Seriously. No, seriously. And then, who else is getting the publicity? The Vikings. And why? Because your team... Here's the reality. Your team quarterbacks are so bad that you're willing to literally drop everything in your life and listen to an old guy who should have retired a couple years ago when Mr. Ted Thompson told him to. Is you're willing to pin your hopes on a guy whose arm is just like falling off, and it's like he's attached with rubber bands, and he's kind of he's lost a lot of his sanity and his perspective, and he's not what he used to be. But your team is so bad that you think that
how are we that bad? We
all of a sudden make you like a Super Bowl contender.
We got the best defense in the division.
No, you don't. Green Bay's is better.
How's Green Bay's better? You're playing. You don't even know what you have. You're going to the 3-4. It's going to take you 2/3 of the season just to figure out your formations.
See it coming.
You're not even able to see it. Aaron Campman's already bitter about it.
He is not.
He's whining about.
No, he is not. He would never whine. Aaron Campman is.
I feel bad. Because part of what I'm trying to do this off season is to gird you to kind of prepare you for the fall, because it's going to be.
I don't need girding, okay? I don't need girding. I don't even know what it is, and I don't need it. Okay, so here's the thing: is why don't you people in Minnesota? Why don't you just all hold your breath? Take a deep breath in right now, okay? And maybe Brett Favre someday will tell you if he's coming. Maybe someday he will. And when he does, maybe you can hold your breath until he stops throwing interceptions every 2 minutes. And maybe you can keep holding your breath until his arm falls off. until he ends up being a massive disappointment to you. Go ahead, hold your breath, Minnesota, because we don't care. We're going to win the division. We don't need Brett Favre. We don't need any of that stuff. We don't need gimmicks or